Moving on to the next session of the day, which happens to be an address come entrepreneur interview on the next big opportunities for entrepreneurship in payments and transaction processing industry, which is to be delivered by the founder and MD of Financial Software and Systems Pvt Ltd. A banker turned entrepreneur, he is known for his expertise and vision for the Indian payments industry and has CAIIB to his credit. Presenting to you, Mr. Nagaraj Mylandla.
Good morning. It's a tough subject they've given me, but I'll try my best to cover as much as possible. Even though the name is Financial Software and Systems, that was when I started as a software company in '91. We have transformed ourselves into a payment systems company today, and most of our people know us as FSS rather than Financial Software and Systems. And one day it will be changed as just the FSS acronym. I started this company, can I give a background and so that people get a, yeah. I used to work for Indian Overseas Bank. One day decided to quit it, went to the US to do my MBA, and I so happened to land up in Omaha, Nebraska. And that's where I ended up working for First Data, which was the processing, they're into payment processing. That's where I got my bit of exposure, but decided to come back and start my own enterprise in India. And I'm glad to say that I was involved in putting up the first ATM in this country. And today there are about 100,000 ATMs. This was the first one in Indian Bank in Harbor branch in Chennai, and a second one which was a drive-in ATM, which we had to remove because the cattle was using it rather than the people. So literally we had to put cattle guards to protect it from cattle coming and sleeping in the ATM area, right? People were not using them. This is 88, 89, but today it's about 100,000 ATMs. Maybe it'll double in the next 2 years to 200,000, maybe 250,000. That's what we are looking at. And there were very few cards. Today, 300 million cards. We've been involved in the entire journey of putting up the switching infrastructure for the banks, the ATMs, the card issuance part, the reconciliation part, and every aspect of the payment side as it evolved over a period of time. So we've been even involved when we had to connect to branches, not core banking. We connect the switches to multiple branch systems to do the transaction to make it happen. So just to give you a quick background, I started this company in '91, came back as an employee of ACI, which was the switching company, and that gave me the brand to start off my own enterprise, became a distributor for them. We became a distributor for Tandem. Today it is HP Nonstop, part of the HP company. Then a few other partnerships I put together, which helped me to create the basic infrastructure for the payments to happen in this country. We set up the first switch, first ATM. I worked with HMA Harish Murthy to set up the first ATM. With Vikas Khurana, who was part of the Hypercom point of sale terminals. We put up the first terminal in the country with him. So all these things were done. We set up the first internet payment gateway for ICICI Bank in 2000. We set up the first mobile banking and payment side with Union Bank about 4 or 5 years ago. So all these things have happened as the market evolved over a period of time. So our role has been mainly in 2 areas. We have 2 divisions, which is FSS Technologies, which is what we created in '91. And as the banks wanted to put everything in-house from the '90s to the 2000s, we sold the solutions and we set up everything to the customers. In 2001, we had an opportunity to set up a hosted service to drive ATMs and then set up card systems and everything. So that created our second division called FSS Net, which is a processing division of the company. Right. We started off, if you look at the right side of the picture, we started off with the transaction switching as a main area for the company's business, but we have progressed further over a period of 20 years to be in almost every aspect of the transaction processing, card processing, as well as the various backend systems required to cover the overall picture for payments. So we are a full function payment company, but 6 years ago, we were purely a switching company. In about 5 years' time, we have transformed ourselves to be an end-to-end payment systems company. Some of the areas where we today dominate as well as help the banks to do their processing is the managed services for the ATMs, point of sale, terminal-based transactions. We enter the debit, prepaid, smart card issuance and processing. Our debit card systems are used by almost 20 plus banks today. We have issued out of the 300 million cards, maybe we should have issued at least 60% of the cards are issued through our systems today. Then reconciliation settlement is a major area where we are in, because that's a very key area today where banks are finding a lot of unreconciled transactions, and also which results in fraud, in a different form of fraud. So that becomes a very critical part of the transaction processing arena. Then internet, mobile banking as well as payments is a key area where we have expanded today, and it's our own IP. Then merchant management for back-end merchants, not only for the physical point of sale, is for internet as well as mobile merchants. So we have a very strong product used by Axis, HDFC, and shortly other banks as well. And we also host it as a service, basically. Then financial inclusion, again, we are more towards the payment side of the financial inclusion, not on the BC side, but we provide the handheld, the terminals, the payment mechanism for that, and end-to-end with the BCs all the way up to the customers to the banking system. And risk and fraud is becoming a emerging area. So what I mean by risk and fraud, we are more into the fraud prevention, fraud detection in the areas of the card fraud, merchant fraud, and online fraud. So these are three areas where we are concentrating. We already helped HDFC Bank in setting up their entire the card and merchant systems, or fraud systems, and we're in the process of setting up our own hosted service for people like the internet merchants or internet service providers, even other people, where this becomes a very effective means to meet RBI or Visa MasterCard requirements. And we have also skipped the verified by Visa and other mechanisms and set up our own second factor authentication to make the transactions faster, and using debit PIN as a means to transact your transactions in addition to your credit card. So that could be a separate discussion we can have. Most of you are talking about it, but we already done that, and we'll be happy to help you on that area. This is a quick background to the company.